Oh, hi.
You're off camera again.
Oh, I'm way over here.
Hi.
Oh, I'm on my own court.
Here we go.
The professionalism
again.
here,
Hey.
above and beyond what you'll get from any other podcast available on Twitch. I'm
40
just saying.
minutes of Martin having to move for this camera, and you two aren't even on camera.
Hey, we made it on camera.
You did.
Welcome back to The Comic Shop Does a Podcast. Question mark? Is it happening? Is this reality? Is this real life? I'm Aaron Z. Lee, also known as Venus de Milo.
I'm Evan Coy, who sounds kind of tinny, actually. Lord Kang, and we're here with...
Krang.
Krang.
Oh, this is the experts on turtles here.
Yeah, Kang, that he goes through time and space. And
We're here
he's
with
a
very
brain.
special guest star. Why does I sound so tinny? We're here with very special guest star.
Martin Kinney, I'm a party dude.
And he doesn't sound tinny.
Do I sound
tinny,
tinny to you?
Not especially.
Okay, maybe it's just the phones.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe I can turn up the low here a little bit.
Turn
A
up the
little
low.
little bass.
Treble
You
and
don't
bass.
sound tinny here. Maybe it's the headphones. Maybe my headphones aren't plugged in correctly.
And you don't sound tiny either.
Oh, that was my joke.
Oh man, sorry. You gotta let me know telepathically that you're gonna say the same joke as me.
Well, I was typing in the chat.
Oh. And today, the topic is gonna be
Poor drawings.
Ninja tortoises.
really, really bad drawings of turtles.
That,
It is on
great.
point because I did flip through the first few issues of Turtles today, and that's some artwork. There's a vast. That's one of those things where a vast difference
in terms of quality of art.
Yeah.
Oh, now I turned up my lows, and now I feel
Over
like
the
I've got-
history of the Ninja Turtles property, you mean?
Yeah.
I turned
Yes,
up the
I
low
think
end,
that's
and now
fair
I
to
feel like
say.
I went through puberty. I just sound very.
I have an early
Basic.
issue coverless Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mirage Run book from my childhood, and I could not remember what one it was. And I was looking through all the art trying to figure out if I could remember a page, but nope.
No such luck. I only ever got the Archie ones growing
That tracks.
up. In the two Secrets of the Ooze adaptation. I got that at the old PNC where Big Lots is now. Cue up the nostalgia for old Oswego part of the episode where we just talk about. Remember Ames? Remember James Way?
Ames?
Love Ames.
I did enjoy Ames. I talked at length with a gentleman with an interview that's going to be a part of the Media Summit stuff, talking about comics, and I mentioned the comic shop quite a bit. So that'll be an article coming out soon.
112 East Bridge Street.
The comic shop. And we talked at length about Ames. He actually worked at Ames.
Really, what was his
He,
name?
do you know Tim Necritz?
Nope.
He works at the college. I've known him for a long time now.
I was hoping
which
his
is
name
wild.
was going to be like Dr. Ames.
No, I wish it was Dr. Ames.
My sister worked at Ames for a few years.
Who owns the license for Ames? I would make a comic book called Dr. Ames.
Dr. You know, we had a Radio Shack comic come in the store today. You remember?
Oh,
those?
really?
It was I want to say TSR, but that's more of a gaming reference. But there was some kind of computer back in the 80s that was they used some kind of comic to publish or to push it.
Oh yeah, I mean they had computers in Radio Shack. I witnessed that. But yeah, Radio Shack.
We're just gonna cut to Martin's confused look when you said that.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
They
We're talking about it. We're talking about different Aaron.
I just thought they were selling radios, but they had that one computer there that one time.
They had keyboards as well, like electronic keyboards. I know because I probably bothered the employees there quite a bit by doodling around on them.
American Sign Language?
Teresa does know a bit of that. She did substitute teach as a teacher of the deaf.
A, B, C, D, E, F. I don't know what G is. I, J, K, L.
I know
S,
one.
N, O,
I know one sign.
P. Is that Q? R. I don't know what S is.
This is
S
great
what
for our
T,
listeners.
U, V, W. I don't, this might be X. I don't know what Y. And Z is a pinky one. Thank you.
And now
Okay, now I can do my
know
sign language if you flip to my camera. No, I'm not doing that.
A, B,
You almost flipped to my
C.
camera.
Next
Show us how to
time.
say a bird in sign language, Martin.
It's flying.
So anyway,
I only know like dirty sign language that I remember, except for squirrel.
Because from never mind.
is this bullshit? I think
This is poop.
poop.
I know that one for sure.
This is such. I love how educational we are. We really try to.
We really should be getting a government grant for all the education we provide.
Help me, please. Out of here.
We need to get that little scene from the original Fly, like the 1950s Fly.
Ninja Turtles. What do we know about Eastman and Laird?
They like pizza.
Oh, we actually have another thing. Martin, do you want to show off? It wouldn't be Ninja Turtles if we didn't have pizza.
Pizza.
So
Pizza.
I can't tell if I'm
Pizza.
I think that our podcast has just turned into like a mukbang, where we're just gonna eat. Like last week was candy.
It's not dirty, Aaron.
It's not? Are you
It's
sure?
not.
Positive.
Do you know what it is?
It just sounds bad. But
It sounds
I'll believe
gross.
you.
It's
Why?
where,
Because it's like Japanese or something, and you.
it's where people like get these gigantic meals and they film themselves eating like these gigantic meals.
And just
Okay.
talking.
And just like reviewing the food as they're eating it.
I don't even think they really review
Sometimes.
the food, do they?
Yeah.
You know, let's not talk about Ninja Turtles at all. Let's talk about my new favorite YouTube channel, Beard Meets Food. And it's this. I've lost you already, Martin.
Is it just ASMR of like hair fibers like squishing
No,
into foods?
it's this dude who I'm guessing is in his like early 30s. He's British.
He's a young man.
He's a young man. He's got a nice beard.
Glorious beard.
And he's the number 12 ranked food eater in the world. So he goes, like he flies to America, flies to Canada, tours Europe, and does like all the food challenge. Do you remember we're gonna get Martin chewing on his pizza real quick. It's just like that, but with talent.
Chewing with talent.
But he does like these food challenges where he puts down like, you know, the 100-ounce steak and the potato and things like that. But he's very funny, and his videos are only 10 minutes long. And sometimes he loses, but it reminds me of that show Man vs. Food with Adam Richmond, I believe. I've totally lost everybody, but I'm going to plow through this. Beard Meets Food, and it's not meats like M-E-E-T-S. It's M-E-A-T-S because it's funny.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so so here's the progress I made so far.
Now,
It's a turtle with a nunchuck. He's jumping through the air with a slice of pizza.
so
Oh, I thought
the
it was
way-
I thought it was a squid tentacle.
You know, same thing.
let's
Very
talk about
Lovecraft.
Let's talk about how Eastman and Laird would work in the studio, and I'm going to take your art from you if you don't mind. Do you mind me defacing that?
He already did.
I mean, if you think you can do better.
There's like a tree. Like I died for that.
Yeah, you know what else is cool? Thanks. Was this when? No, this might have been from Michaels, or maybe AC Moore when they were going out of business. But these delightful sketch markers premiere by Nicole.
They're not from Lowe's.
Not from Lowe's. It's a knockoff Copic markers.
I need to
Wonderful.
see a turtle for a reference. Can you hand me one of the action figures? So the way Eastman and Laird used to just throw it.
That's the name of the game.
The way Eastman and Laird used to work together in their studio, Mirage Studios. You know why it was called Mirage Studios?
I do.
Explain why.
I do, but I'm not telling.
Because it didn't exist.
It didn't exist because they
was
literally
their apartment.
They didn't have a studio, and so they
Yes.
call it Mirage Studios, which is tremendous. Let's talk about their work process, or let's just drink beverages.
Yeah, I
Beverages.
prefer just drinking beverages. Eastman and Laird, they exist.
They would take paper and they would take something like a pen or a pencil or a marker and they would draw, and then they would make $1 billion. That was their plan.
Just
It's
goof.
hard for me to draw and operate the cameras.
It's hard for you to operate the cameras.
I know.
That's why I don't do it.
I got miscellaneous meat all over this freshly washed tablecloth.
MISCMEAT. Miscellaneous meat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Eastman and Laird, they would be hanging out working on their the real thing, which was Fugitoid. That was their idea that was going to take off and
What
make
was
$1 million.
Fugitoid actually?
Something no publisher was interested in.
Yes. And so while they were working on Fugitoid, Peter Laird, I believe, drew a little turtle with a bandana.
I'm just going to be completely honest here. I cannot tell them apart, so go ahead.
Peter Laird or Kevin Eastman?
I don't remember which is whichever.
I don't remember which is which either.
Peter
Martin,
Laird
I'm sorry for
Peter Laird is the bald one, and Kevin Eastman is the cool one.
Who's the one that got robbed?
What do you mean? In what?
Oh, one of them made $60 million and the other one did not.
I think Kevin Eastman's the one who made 60 million.
The older one did.
The older one did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it must have been Peter Laird then.
Okay.
But Kevin Eastman, I mean, he's it's a whole nother thing. He's a fascinating character. I mean, he just really likes comics, but
Can I see the turtle comic there? I need to see more reference.
just don't get MEAT all over it.
Is this yours?
Yes.
Okay, I will.
It's the Gene Colan.
Oh,
The Gene
Colon
Colan.
and meat. That's what I like talking about.
colon. There's a lot of meat in my colon.
Our two believers have tuned out.
I don't think one of them even tuned in.
Yeah, so let's talk about meat. Let's talk about colon.
Your wife switched over to a YouTube channel with a bearded man eating food.
She admits it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so they would be working on their Fugitoid comic. They had their dream. What was it in the early days? It was a newspaper ad or something like that. It was like a classified looking for somebody else who wanted to work on making comics that Peter Laird had put into the newspaper, and Kevin Eastman just happened to be in the neck of the woods that Peter Laird lived in because I think he was visiting a girlfriend at the time.
Well, he'd run away with a girlfriend or something. Yeah.
Have you guys watched the
today.
What is it? The
Toys that made us.
Oh, well, there's also another
Oh.
one. Turtle Power. It's the history of the Ninja Turtles. I watched it a while ago. I bought the documentary on Amazon.
We only pirate things here.
I watched it on Netflix.
Not me. I'm on the up and up.
On Netflix, I actually pay for it, so that's even more amazing.
Yeah.
I let my Netflix go like a year ago now. It was last year around this time.
That's why I can't watch it on the big TV anymore.
Yeah.
Is there something good on Netflix that I want to see now? I watched The Munsters. I enjoyed that.
You're the only one who enjoyed the Monsters. Everybody else tells me it's trash, which
The
is
new one?
which is disappointing.
Well, what do you expect it to be? It's silly. It's campy. It's monsters. Do you
It's altogether kooky.
do you hate fun?
I'm here, so yes, I hate fun.
Welcome to the Nihilism cast. But yeah, in that documentary, Kevin Eastman answered the ad, and they ended up becoming friends, and then eventually moving into the same apartment and like working on stuff. I think Kevin Eastman was a server or a host at a restaurant for a long time to pay the bills while they were working on comics.
They bonded over Jack Kirby. I know that.
Yes, their mutual love of Jack Kirby. That's
We've got a good Kirby tale for that when we get to it as well. One of the fifth Ninja Turtles.
Oh, well, yeah.
yes, that is accurate.
Fun fact to stay tuned for, everyone.
Do you know what that is? The Kirby turtle?
I think so.
Okay.
But I'll be happy to listen to it.
It's
Wish
not.
you guys were reviewing candy again. You can review grocery or gas station pizza.
It's really not good.
No, you're not a fan.
I'm not a fan.
Really not selling me.
I just picked the meats off the top and the cheese, and that was it.
Mm.
I might lick the sauce later if I'm bored, but
Lick the bowl, Martin.
Like the bowl. Here we go. We got some more Ninja Turtles. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
it's backwards.
Got some Shredzer.
Shredder's kind of chasing him down there. Not very good, but
I like how like if this were animated.
wow, you two are a lot like the creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and how you collaborated on that one page.
not very good.
Yeah, I like how Michelangelo is. He's got a very like floopy body.
Let's go on to the document camera. That is not Michelangelo, sir. I
Oh.
changed it
Oh, you changed it. Why has he got the?
because Raphael is the best Ninja Turtle. Everybody knows that.
Who is?
Raphael. Who is the best Ninja Turtle? Martin, go. You can wrong answers only.
I go back and forth between the orange one and the red one.
Raphael is the best. He's the most sarcastic. He's the most angry. And that appeals to 8-year-old Evan.
When I was a kid, I liked Leonardo because he was the leader and he was balanced. That I appreciated that.
Yeah, you liked Wolverine better than Cyclops.
What did I do?
Oh, you just broke it. It's fine.
Okay.
But over the years, I have a fondness now for Donatello, being kind of the Q of
Donatello
Ninja
is the
Turtles.
second best Ninja Turtle. Yep. Thank you.
because he's kind of the one who's the brains of the operation, putting together cool plans and cool stuff, and I can relate to that more so than Leonardo just being balanced. Although you know, being a leader, I mean that's something I kind of have to do too as a teacher. You know, can relate to that. You got to lead lessons and
Aaron
Did all
Z.
kinds of
Lee,
stuff.
leader of our children.
Boring, dull leader of our children.
well,
Uninteresting, uncompelling, wearing purple.
Oh, yeah, there's the purple again with the Machine
That
Man.
is, that
and the
is,
Jack
yeah.
Kirby. That okay? We're making more connections here and how I've
That's
come
right. You
around
used to be the
Donatello.
comic shop's #1 Machine Man fan.
Who's the new Machine Man fan?
Some little kid I haven't met.
Sounds like a real
Who
jerk.
likes Machine Man? How does he even
Yeah.
know who or she?
It's a he. Oh, contacts. I gotta remember details.
How do they even know who Machine Man is? Jack Kirby creation. That's our connection here.
I'm trying to think how the mom did say how the kid discovered Machine Man, but has been obsessed with Machine Man for years, and she's always trying to find something, but there's never new material made.
Struggling artists Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were living in Northampton, Massachusetts when they came up with the Turtles in November of 1983. As a joke, Eastman drew a turtle standing on his hind legs. We've already established that. Wearing a mask with nunchucks strapped to his arms. Eastman wrote Ninja Turtle on the top of the page. Laird laughed. He chuckled. And then drew a more refined version of the turtle. Not to be outdone, Eastman drew 4 turtles, each armed with a ninja-style weapon. Laird said, outlined the group and shot in ink and added Teenage Mutant to the Ninja Turtles title, and the rest is history.
What's really great about this is that they labored over their idea they loved for a very long time and
Yes.
got nothing from it, and then they were just doing a stupid doodle back and forth, and they made a gajillion dollars, found creative success and commercial success. So
Martin, just real quick, how quickly did this all happen? It's incredible how fast
it was
this
like-
went from like a sketch on a table
The
to like a
description-
$1 billion industry in like 6
description.
years.
The description for the podcast tonight was like it went from small indie comic to small screen toy shelves and movies, and it was a matter of like 6 years total between one and the other.
Which took them away from making the comic because they were so wrapped up in managing the property and being sued. Because
Watching Evan eat.
it's beautiful.
It was great.
We gotta get that closer on the mic.
That pizza's terrible.
It is really bad, even for
You're really not selling me on it.
Let's talk about the Daredevil connection.
the Daredevil connection. What's the Daredevil connection?
Well, there's an individual named Matt Murdock, who is also Daredevil. He received his.
The connection.
No, he just looks kind of familiar.
Oh. I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, there's no joke there.
I should have.
We should have an insert picture.
Yeah, in the editing, we'll do it in the edit.
We'll do it in the edit.
We're not going to
We
do
never
anything in
edit.
the edit. You kidding me?
The only way we edit these is when we hit the delete button.
Yeah. So Matt Murdock, I don't know if you know this, he received his powers saving a blind man from a truck carrying a vat of toxic waste.
Happens all the time.
Was that driven by a rat?
It's inconclusive.
Okay.
But he was sprayed in the face with the toxic waste. Unbeknownst to him, the toxic waste also went down the gutter into the sewer and landed on 4 turtles and a rat.
So this is Miller had just finished his run on Daredevil. The Daredevil was very popular at the time. Then they went on to do him and I guess it was just Klaus Janson, right? To do Ronin. So I think Ronin,
that's a Frank Miller joint all the way through, except for Lynn Varley, I think, right?
just
Is it?
his wife color.
Unless somebody else did the lettering, I don't know if maybe.
I could be wrong.
Did George Costanza do the lettering? Probably.
Let's fact check that.
That was George Costanza, 100%.
But Daredevil very popular at the time, and this was kind of their tribute to or parody of that rather. So like Daredevil taught by Stick, Master Stick or whatever. The Turtles, of course, taught by Master Splinter.
Because it's a littler piece of a stick.
The Daredevil fighting the Hand. The Turtles, Martin, they
Have
fight.
the
They fight
the foot.
a foot. They
the
fight
Foot Clan.
the Foot Clan.
Whole clan of feet.
Whole clans of feats.
The more smelly version of.
But there's just
Ninja
a lot of parallels there.
Where's Krang fit into all this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Into
The
the
Turtles'
animated
origin
series.
is same scenario plays out except the canister bounces off a boy's head and smashes into a bowl with baby turtles, who fall into a manhole.
Turtle.
Splinter finds the turtles crawling around in a viscous fluid.
Ooh, it's so viscous.
The mutagen turns the turtles and Splinter into
Potato bugs.
human-sized heroes.
Human-sized heroes.
Small human-sized heroes.
Small human-sized heroes. That's a good concept.
That is.
Heroes who are 4'10".
You guys should talk to Chuck Lorre about a sitcom.
Yeah.
It's Chuck Lorre, right?
Chuck Lorre.
For Big Bang Theory and such.
Yep.
He did.
From Dharma and Greg, okay? Let's not bring Big Bang Theory when there's something much better that he did, which was Dharma and Greg.
He
He actually did that. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't remember hating that show.
You want to talk about the Chuck Lorre connection?
I just want to talk about Dharma and Greg.
Let's talk about Dharma.
Super fans? No.
Chuck Lorre or no?
Yeah, go for it.
There's a Chuck Lorre connection?
I don't. You.
Oh, I was just. You guys were singing songs, and it was like the song that he made.
It was a song that he made that he actually sang. On.
Yeah, he performed. Yeah,
Me?
Chuck Lorre.
Chuck Lorre.
Human-sized heroes?
He would. He would say. Whatever the cow. Not the cowabungas.
Party dude.
Yeah, party dude was Chuck Lorre.
He sang the theme song to Ninja Turtles?
He like
he
ad-libbed.
wrote it and
He ad-libbed parts of it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the song basically is just saying the name. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Well, the way he
Teenage
explained it is that he wanted
Mutant-
you needed to introduce these characters in this concept, which is really weird easily. So
Which
I
is a
guess that
good
makes
gimmick.
sense. Yeah. It can be learned from, for sure.
First time's a charm. In March of 1984, Eastman and Laird created a new company, Mirage Studios. Mirage Studios because there was no studio. It was not real. Eastman used a $500 tax return. Laird had $200 in his bank account, and they borrowed $1,300 from Eastman's uncle. To Quentin Ninja Turtle. To print 3,000 copies of the first book, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. After printing costs, they had enough money to run an ad in Comics Buyer's Guide, an industry publication. Thanks to the one ad, comic distributors across the country started calling in, and Mirage sold all 3,000 copies within a few weeks. With more orders coming in, they printed 6,000 additional copies, and those sold through too. By May, they made enough money to pay Eastman's uncle back, Quentin Turtle, and made a $200 profit. It was meant to be a one-shot deal, but they recognized that this might be onto something. So they did. 9 months later, they did issue number 2, and they received 15,000 orders for that.
9 months?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Maybe that's where Joe Mad got his inspiration from.
Well, again, it was a one.
Well, it was supposed to be a one shot. They regretted killing off their villain in the first issue after doing so.
Did they kill a Shredder in the first issue? Or was that like issue 3?
I heard it was issue 1 from a documentary about toys. So take that from as you will.
We don't actually read the comics here at the comic
No.
shop.
I thought it was they killed. Actually, it's a very interesting point that's brought up. Shredder wasn't planned on being a long-term villain. Oh, can you do your crying impression?
Shredder.
That's very good. Do it one more time.
Shredder.
That's a
pretty good.
future soundbite that we're going to
no,
record.
I'm the new Lucas.
Yes. Thank you.
No one ever wants to be the new Lucas.
They really...
So 15,000 copies of their second book, reprinted 30,000 more copies of issue 1 in January of that year. More, second printings, third printings. By issue 8, they were selling 135,000 copies of their book.
Marvel can't even do that now.
That's insane.
In fact, there are bootleg copies that are trying to imitate being a first printing. Now that even as a bootleg are
It's
worth a
still
considerable amount of money because of the history now surrounding them.
Ninja Turtles ran under the Mirage banner from 84 to 95, 75 issues as well as a dozen miniseries, one-shots, spin-offs. Archie Comics then licensed the cartoon for 72 issues from 1988 until 1995. Mirage moved to Image in 96 for 13 issues. I believe that's a typo. I believe it was 23-issue miniseries at Image. And a miniseries before being canceled in 99. The only reason I know that is because Eric Larson. That's all I talk about is Eric Larson.
From the Far Side.
Well, he talks about you too, so
He
it's
does.
only fair.
Oh, because we love each other. He commented on my Facebook status.
I know.
Eric Larson, creator of the Far Side.
Creator of the Far Side. I was his brother Gary.
Talented family.
I'm gonna convince Eric Larson to leave his wife for me.
Fact check free zone.
Here's my fun. Ready? This is my last Eric Larson's Turtles fact, and Aaron, you're not gonna know this one either.
I don't know it.
I didn't know it either. Now.
The Turtles appear in issue 2 of Savage Dragon.
Oh, okay.
They appear in issue 22 of Savage Dragon. Several years ago, for issue 222, Eric tried to reach out to them to get the licensing to put Dragon in issue 222, so you could have the cameos in 222 and 222. But the licensing was so confusing at that point in time that he couldn't just directly talk with them because they had sold off various parts of it. So he wasn't able to do it.
Could he just put his own analogous?
Martin, that was real frothy.
Their own analogous turtle characters.
I guess
It's not the same.
Like,
Let's
look
go
at
to the
this.
document
This is an analogous turtle character. Go to the doc cam. Yeah, look at that beautiful beam footage.
All right, I'm
You need
drawing.
to buff his arms up a little bit there.
I'm
This
drawing.
is this is Little Legs, human-sized hero.
Heroes who were 4'10". That's a good.
Kill me.
Here, do you want to talk about
Things I regret.
wanna
Yesterday,
talk
not turning to Alex Dexter and saying, "Hey, you want to be on the podcast tomorrow?"
Going soft. That's what you want to read.
Yeah,
about
I want
me
you
there?
to read. Yes, I want you to read about impotence as it relates to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We inspired Martin to go do something.
The original Mirage comic
Let's go to the
book.
document cam.
Do one of these.
Oh, a little this way. There they are. There's there's little blue
No,
pills.
I'm okay, thanks.
We bought those at the gas station just for this segment.
Wow. All right. The original Mirage comic book really wasn't made for youngsters. The Turtles diced up enemies while spouting the occasional curse word, and one of the Turtles' allies was a hockey mask-wearing vigilante, Casey Jones. Does he predate Jason? Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th?
No.
No.
No? No?
We're going with no.
Okay.
I'll fact check though.
Who beat down even the low-level crooks with baseball bats and hockey sticks. But when Playmate Toys expressed interest in producing TMNT action figures in 1986, the comic's PG-13 attitude wouldn't fit Playmate's 4 to 8-year-old target audience. I was part of that target audience. In addition, part of Playmate's marketing was an animated cartoon which had to pass television censors. So to make the Turtles viable for the younger set, the Turtles had to soften up.
1980.
Okay. Among other changes, the Turtles became wisecracking jokers obsessed with pizza. The Shredder became a typical bumbling cartoon villain. Members of the Foot Clan were now robots, so parents wouldn't complain that the Turtles were too violent. And instead of damn, the Turtles shouted easily marketable catchphrases like Turtle Power and Cowabunga.
Let's talk about Cowabunga.
Let's talk about Cowabunga. Is that there? Cowabunga.
You want me to keep going through
Look for,
until I
look
see
for a
some-
Cowabunga. It's a legal issue that they had, which
Hashtag
is
searching for
It's
Cowabunga.
fascinating
turn
that there
my
was
phone off?
a legal issue using the term Cowabunga.
Dude.
I love being a turtle.
Aaron Lee turning pages. What he was born to do. Turning page.
You're darn tootin'.
One page at a time.
Insane in the membrane.
Whatever.
Howdy Doody guy sued them because one of his characters actually coined Cowabunga, allegedly. Even though it had fallen into common use vernacular amongst surfers and beyond. He was suing for a bunch of money and only got like $50,000,
Oh.
which
Wow.
is amazing. He got even.
Yeah, I can't find my notes on that.
Cowabunga.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
No fail.
Tell us about the movie, Aaron.
Me?
Yeah, you just watched it.
Well, I watched the first 15 minutes because I do exemplary research for this podcast.
Okay, just to reiterate,
We
he watched 10 minutes of a movie. Evan went to Wikipedia, and I watched The Toys That Made Us. This is what you guys are choosing to spend your time doing, is
This
listening
is the
to
quality
these. Yep.
content that the comic shop provides to you.
Day in, day out.
Hey, do you want to do Turtles? Sure. Let's all spend 15 minutes doing really hacky research.
Mine was a half hour.
And, go ahead.
Okay, so the main connection that I want to talk about, Judith Hoag, who played April O'Neil in the first film, would go on to play the mom in the Halloween Town trilogy or quadrilogy. Halloween Town. High quality Disney programming.
Never saw it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I only saw it until recently because it's a spooky movie. I could play with Lucy in the room because it's not too spooky. But yeah, it was I think it was the last film Jim Henson worked on with his animatronic puppets, and he created the Ninja Turtles, Splinter.
Yeah, Jim Henson retired after that, right?
Retired to 6 feet under.
No. Rest in peace, Jim
Yeah.
Henson. Jim Henson did great stuff.
He did.
He did. You do feel like watching the film that the turtles are alive. I think they did a great job. with the animatronics. Something that they have not achieved in any of the other live-action films with the Ninja Turtles.
Directed by Steve Barron, who made some of the biggest videos of the MTV era. He did the sidewalk lighting Billie Jean.
Ooh.
He did the Sketch World and Aha's Take
Oh,
on Me.
yeah.
And I don't remember this video
I
at
don't
all.
either.
Best
He
videos
brought
of all
this up.
time.
Dire Straits Money for Nothing?
It's one of the first 3D animated videos. You know,
I don't
Money for
know why we
Nothing.
didn't just look that up earlier.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's the 3D one with very very geometric characters. You know,
I'm sure if I saw it, I remember the song, but I don't.
you would know it if you saw it. It's very iconic.
Jim Henson Creature Shop used state-of-the-art control system called Puppet Tektronics, which I love the name
Ooh.
Puppet Tektronics, to bring the turtle costumes to life. They created facial expressions. A single puppeteer would use a joystick for the eyes, an electronic glove to work the jaws, and a headset with infrared sensors tracking the puppet worker's face to work the lips.
Oh wow, that's a very big precursor to the CGI dots that they have now on like Tatiana Maslany and Mr. Mark Ruffalo. The Gruffalo.
Real Hulk, fake Hulk, flipped around.
Both Hulks,
No.
Man and Lady Hulk.
cousin and cousin Hulk. Yeah, so they had Elias Koteas as Casey Jones, who I think he would go on to do all kinds of acting stuff as a detective in certain things, and
As a detective in certain things.
I'm not gonna fact check.
we don't fact check things. He was a police officer, I think, in another movie. So he'll pop up every once in a while. Elias Koteas, you'll see him all over the place. A lot less hair now than what he had in Ninja Turtles.
Really, less hair 60 years later.
Yes, that's right.
Can we get to my one note that I made? I made one note. There's a guy who was very important in the explosion of the Turtles, which is Mark Friedman, who, much like Mirage Studios, he had no office, but he rented a suit and had a business card made up. He said a business card, so I think it might be one. He approached the Turtle guys, and they're like, sure, you can try and sell our stuff. And basically he did. And after the toys took off, the cartoon took off, he's like, guys, you can't just rest on this. We need to push for the movie. So he's the one that pushed for the live-action movie as well. But
Which
yeah,
they totally could have rested on it.
they could have.
It's just weird how how quickly that went from a sketch on the paper in 1983 to cartoon in 1987 to action figures by 1988 to $200 million grossing movie in 1990.
The largest growing independent film of all time at that time.
Yep. And no one was interested in this property at all. It was always everybody passed on the toys. Playmates was desperately trying to get into the American market, so they went with it. They could not sell this property at like Toy Fair. No one was interested. Toys R Us finally made a commitment to order, and Playmates was like, okay, we'll make like 5,000 of these things, and then they were released. They were bought up instantly by ravenous little kids, and ended up, I think, Toys R Us placing like a 600,000 unit order to restock, and it went from there.
What Turtles toys do you remember having as a kid?
None.
Really?
I have no idea what. My brother CJ, huge into it. The whole family enjoyed Turtles. It's actually like one thing that the whole family actually liked. But yeah, I never really had any toys. I'm sure I would play something with it. But yeah, I don't recall. I could be wrong.
I had a bunch of Turtles toys. I'm going to tell you the story of my favorite Turtles toy, and it was. I'm going to date myself because now we're going to go back to March of 1991. So
Dark ages.
Playmates put out over 400 Turtles toys from 1988 to 97? I'm trying to think of the weird. Do you remember the weird Jim Lee Turtles?
Yeah.
Because again, Larson had a Barbaric and a Cop Dragon in there. Over 400 toys. So they started to get really weird and really out there. So it's March of
An outfit for every turtle.
an outfit for every turtle. So it's March of 91. It's the ice storm. I'm not sure how affected Oswego was by the ice storm of 91, but Rochester was shut down for like a week. So there was a brand new mall that opened up in Rochester, the Irondequoit Mall, which quickly just became overrun with gangsters and shut down 10 years later. But it was fun being a 10-year-old kid with a new mall. So we didn't have power, so we went to the mall. And I remember we all got to get a toy at KB Toys.
Oh,
And
wow. Living it up.
we have not discussed Vanilla Ice's performance yet. That is very important, Nick. We will bring that up. Coming out of our shells is still my music of choice to play during dinner parties. Yes. So anyway, KB Toys, I get a Michelangelo who is an astronaut. And I don't remember.
wow.
I don't
That's
remember them
pretty
going.
cool.
It's actually one of them they made fun of in the
Is
Toys
it,
That
is
Made
it
Us.
really?
Yeah.
So I had an astronaut Michelangelo that I got to bring. We took the train to my grandma's in Albany because they had power. With the exception of my dad, we made my dad stay at home in the cold house. But
Where he should be.
where he should be. But the
He
kids,
was happy to be alone.
he probably was. It was probably the best thing that happened to him all week because he just got to be away from his wife and kids. But I remember distinctly getting the Michelangelo astronaut toy and bringing that on the train with me to Albany, where we stayed the week until the power came back on the house and we got to go back home. But I never had a ton of turtle toys either. I had a good amount, but I remember like my friends Jason Shug, like he had the blimp, he had the van. I had a smattering of here and there, but like man, that kid had everything, and there was 400 different toys, so like there's a little bit of everything. Let's go to the document cam real quick. Oh, what are we working on?
I'm just coloring our previous collaboration here.
That looks good.
And then I just created this catchphrase. It's not derivative at all.
Kawachanga. I added a little bit to this too. I did. So going back to his short legs, I was like, oh, Aaron didn't put knee pads on his legs. And then I realized, oh, he put them on at such a weird location. So then I just made them super big knee pads.
Are you saying I did the wrong proportion?
You did. And then we gave him a bow, and then I gave him a really wonky sword, and then we threw a Krang up in there too because this is
I like this indentation in the sword. It's like they were forging it and somebody just squished it.
He banged it off of a Foot Clan soldier's head and it dented.
Inktober's over, guys.
Inktober.
Well, anyway,
Inkvember.
Inkvember.
Inksember.
I gave up on Inktober around day 20 or so.
No ink November.
I completed that Wesley comic strip that went to the newspaper, and that was pretty much it for me.
Yeah, it was good. It was
Thank you.
nice.
Thank you.
The only panel that didn't print well in the newspaper was the last one. For whatever
Oh, for real?
For whatever reason, it was a little.
Aaron Lee.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything else printed really well though.
Except for the very end, which is, the ultimate payoff of the...
Yeah, except for the joke.
I read all week for this.
Do we know the context of the Vanilla Ice Ninja Rap at all? Like
Do
where that
you?
came from? Like
Is
I
this
just,
a lead-in because you
No,
know?
Nick,
no, I
do you
don't. I
know?
don't.
Do you know Nick?
I just know it was one of those weird things that like Secret of the Ooze was what 90. Was
Two?
it immediately the year
It
after?
was like really quick.
Was it 91?
Secret of the Ooze was 91.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So they,
Holy moly.
again, how weird is the timeline?
Yeah.
That like it went from cartoon in 88, 2 years later to a movie, and immediately with a sequel with Vanilla Ice in it.
To their credit, it worked for them, unlike Masters of the Universe, which did the slow burn movie and waited till the franchise was dead to actually put that out.
Here's a good. We're gonna call this a factoid.
According to Eastman and Laird, in the early days of the comic book, Roger Corman's New World Pictures approached them about a comedy adaptation using contemporary stand-up comics. Gallagher, Sam Kinison,
Gallagher 1, not Gallagher 2. I think that's an important note to make.
Bobcat Goldthwait, and Billy Crystal, dressed in turtle shells and
wanted so
green face makeup.
I would have loved this.
Gallagher,
Now.
Sam Kinison, Bobcat Goldthwait, Billy Crystal as the Ninja Turtles.
In green face makeup.
I wish I could do a better Sam Kinison impression.
Would you like me to read the next sentence?
Yes.
Another unrelated project
That's a little enthusiastic.
was an R-rated film that would have featured roller skating, semi-nude nuns with Uzis battling the turtles. We know that is, something that's really devastating to our cities. It's really overtaking, urban areas as the semi-nude nuns with Uzis.
You know,
Topless,
it
Uzi
is
wielding
it
nuns.
is sad when you look out across the street at Stewart's and you see another
Stewart's.
at Stewart's. because it's basically a sewer.
Well, I mean-
and it's on topic for tonight. Oh, let's go to the pizza can.
Now, if you guys were wondering, do we try to outdo ourselves for the worst broadcast we ever do?
We're already
each
doing
week?
it.
We do.
We're already doing it.
Take a good look at
Look
this.
at the
We're
pizza
like
cam.
Doctor Strange 2.
But when you see the nuns,
Kiss
No,
our
this is better
turtles.
than that.
when you see the nuns come stumbling out of Stewart's, strung out on Molly with a titty out and an Uzi in their hand,
We have video footage, actually,
It's just-
from them wandering down the sidewalk.
it's sad. It's sad.
Well,
And it's really, I mean, I think that it's interesting that, the take,
only to break the habit.
the take in society back in 1990, that this was a problem back then, and the more things change, Martin,
was
the
it
more
a problem,
things stay
or were
the
they
same.
just visionaries looking to the future for ideas? Or did they
Like
make
a
it a reality?
retrofuturism that turned out to be a little close to home.
Titty nun.
Anywho,
We're making Aaron uncomfortable.
should-
It's a
should
good,
we- should
good
we-
part of the show.
should we go?
Oh, I forgot Aaron's here. We got to behave.
That's
know.
right. I bring when I'm here. There's standards and practices.
Pizza
damn it.
cam.
Whoa.
And we're using the word pizza generously to describe this.
It's. I gotta say, I'm not a big sausage guy, and you guys are really not selling me. I'm taking the leap.
Oh, you're a big sausage guy.
You're a number 2 sausage guy.
Well,
Oh.
it was just the way you did that reminded me of the Jingle All the Way with your wife's cookies. Mm. You know what I'm talking about? The Phil Hartman.
Aw.
Is that like a What About Bob where he's eating dinner? It's like, oh, is this corn hand shucked? Oh.
It's played up a bit, but there's some great remixes about Jingle All the Way. The holiday season coming up, guys. We're in November.
Thanksgiving is first, though.
I
Come
can't
on.
I can't believe summer's almost over.
I know.
We've really been just enjoying the beach, for a really long time. It's hard to say goodbye. Those 80-degree temps, the sun, the sunscreen.
I'm going to talk about video games. Can I do that?
I'm not your boss.
Okay, as long as we bring it back around to Vanilla Ice at some point.
I don't have much.
And my colon.
And your colon.
his
Your meat
colon.
colon.
You want to go to the colon cam?
With special guest Jonathan Ashline.
Welcome back. Welcome to the comic shop. Colon cam trademark copyright reserved. Be a video warrior with the colon cam. Yeah, so Gene Colan, legendary comic artist, doing a fill-in here on the
What a
Eastman
weird book,
Layers,
right?
Ninja Turtle Adventures. So it's based on the TV cartoon, but yeah, I can imagine this has got to be tough because he probably had to go through licensing in order to get these things approved, and you get one of the masters of the Silver Age of comics working purposely in a more cartoony style. But even so, I think this is a fantastic looking book. There's a Wolverine issue that Gene Colan drew, and at the time I was like, oh, this is an interesting style. It's different than what I'm used to. But now I appreciate this stuff so much. Yeah, we got some buildings here, some great
Can we
expressions.
do that one day? We'll do the drinking game for all the catchphrases.
Yeah, and then Sean Phillips and Adam Kubert were drawing Wolverine with Ed Brubaker.
Am I on the wrong thing?
No, never mind.
Who were waving around. Oh, more purple? I was born to turn these pages. Look at that. Look at these sound effects. It's a good-looking book.
It's just a weird find of Gene Colan doing turtles.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that he would do that. But then Raphael shows up in a cloak, a little hooded cloak, as he would do. And then the next issue looks like this.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Oh, Acme Traps. They got a big old mouse trap up there. They were going to try and catch Splinter, I bet. But just good-looking stuff. Anything Gene Colan does is worth a look, I think, in my opinion.
One thing we're not going to talk about is the Michael Bay movies.
What now?
Did you watch them?
There's Michael Bay movies?
Yeah, okay. I think we're in agreement. We're just going to ignore that altogether.
I'm just glad you didn't try and call it a film.
Yeah.
Michael Bay's never made a film.
Movies that never were. Eastman and Laird heard that more than once if 4 Ninja Turtles are good, then 5 Ninja Turtles
Better.
must be better. No, they resisted the idea. The duo did come up with a 5th turtle concept that almost came to be. And here's a comics-related one. Yes, Martin.
Why would people say that?
Because people are stupid.
Okay, because
One Spider-Man's good. What about 10 Spider-Men? 20?
Yeah,
30.
It seems odd that people would say that.
For the never produced, there was actually a fourth Turtles film potentially. They
Turtles Back in Time.
Yes. For the never produced fourth Turtles film, they created Kirby named after their idol Jack Kirby. Not sure who that is. Oh, no, he's a comic book legend who helped to develop the Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men, and was just stomped all over.
Oh, he rode Stanley's coattails.
in-
Okay.
industry doormat, Jack Kirby, who I love. I love you, Jack Kirby. I love you.
He created Machine
but Jack
Man,
Kirby
so-
never loved himself.
The character would have been
Yeah.
introduced via a magical crystal that could bring drawings to life. The concept art of Kirby, which recently sold for $500 at an auction, shows a somewhat savage-looking turtle with striped skin and four fingers.
$500?
Isn't that embarrassing? That should be way more. This is
Yeah. What?
If we can afford it, it's not.
The More is Better wore out on Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation. No relation to the unproduced film, a live-action TV series that ran from '97 to '98. It was produced by Saban. Remember that 1 year of Saban Turtles or
How
whatever?
could I forget?
It was horrible.
It's seared into my mind.
Featured the same cheesy rubber-suited production value as the series introduced Venus de Milo, a female Ninja Turtle, complete with shelled breasts. Also seen at Stewart's late at night next to
Lying on the ground.
The semi-nude
I guess.
Uzi
the
nuns.
semi-nude nuns with Uzis.
Why am I eating this pizza?
I don't know, because we hate ourselves. The show is not a hit with fans and less so with Laird. When asked which Turtles merchandise he now regrets, his response was, the only licensed product that I truly regret, Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation.
And this was the beginning of the end of their friendship.
Yeah,
Partnership.
what was their end of their friendship? Because they kind of
The younger one says that he wanted to branch out on his own. He didn't want to be this thing for the rest of his career. So he wanted to sell the turtles, and the older one said, "No, we're never selling this." And so he's like, "Fine, just buy mine." And so he bought out of his shares, and then 9 years later stabbed him in the back by selling to. Is it Paramount or is it
Viacom.
Viacom.
yeah.
For
Those
$60 million.
It has
Those
something
Via
like-
communists.
Viacom, do they own Paramount?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all part of that CBS conglomerate mess. Corporations rule.
Yes.
I'm looking for some corporate sponsorship.
Oh, we're not enough for you?
Here's a great turtle story because I'm just reading things. 'Cause
Yeah.
we did no research. We did no.
I did research. I got it right here. Right there.
Look, I'm doing stuff
We'll go to
right
the document
now.
can.
I'm doing stuff live.
Yeah, because I can't see because your pizza's in the way now.
Yeah, this is my pizza
Oh, hold
sensor
on. We have
block.
a question. First time in the chat. Road Warrior, Hawk, and Animal. Ooh, that what a rush. They played Tokar and Raza, right, or whatever.
Oh, did they really?
I don't know. If Evan is
believe
the
you.
Leonardo of the comic shop, does that make Martin Raphael? Martin, what Ninja Turtle are we, Martin?
I would probably have to be Raphael. Yes, definitely.
Just because of the sarcasm?
Yeah, that's why.
And the hot temper?
Yep. I just fly off the handle all the time.
And all the size.
I almost threw my mouse yesterday.
I threw my phone. The
You
other day with
did.
Fit. That was not good. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna throw the mouse across the room at Evan or a wall. I don't know whichever I'd miss either way. But then I remembered, no.
No,
I
you've
just,
got good
I
aim
just-
lately.
I just bought this mouse. If I had my old one, I would have. But
What would Splinter think?
Aaron, what
throwing
Ninja
mice.
Turtle would you be?
We were talking about this
Baxter
earlier.
Stockman.
There is something.
Baxter Stockman.
There is something appealing about
Baxter
the
Stockman.
Flyman. But if I had to pick a Ninja Turtle, I think it's Donatello. He's got the cool
look at
gadgets.
your microphone.
Oh yeah, you're the purple mic today.
Oh, yours is blue. You got to be Leonardo then.
Oh, I am the blue. So I
And you're
do
gray.
tag the mics with colors, so I know when I'm adjusting things on the board, I have colors on the board. And
Oh, that makes sense.
I switched all the colors around recently because we had to break everything down. And Martin, of course, is the gray Ninja Turtle.
Yes.
Donatello seems pretty chill.
Funny joke.
And I think in later editions, Donatello actually had a space in his two front teeth too.
Yeah. I've got the space in my two front teeth too.
Well, if it's a competition,
Aaron wins.
Yeah.
It's his signature.
that's
Look
right.
at him trying to step on your trademark there.
Trying to usurp my identity, Evan.
Well, it's all part of my plan to
What an asshole.
yes,
Kawachunga.
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 Here's a
that's
fun-
what Mary says.
Here's another fun
You
factoid.
can't get that
Oh,
with
a
us.
factoid.
Would you like another factoid? The turtles came under fire from the American Farm Bureau in 1981 when they starred in the Random House book Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
1981?
1991.
Oh, 1990. Okay.
Can you not correct me when I don't know how to read? I'm sorry. I don't know how to read very well.
The year was 1946. The Ninja Turtles had just hit the scene.
Yes, the Ninja Turtles. Of course.
Quick, switch to black and white. Black and white.
It's the March of War.
This is a technodrome going across Europe.
When they starred in the Random House book Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ABCs for a Better Planet, the book covered environmental issues, including a statement saying some of the animals are injected with cancer-causing artificial growth hormones, and much of the world's grain goes to feeding cattle rather than starving people. Additionally, there were mentions of pesticide that can remain on fruits and vegetables even after they get to the supermarket. The Farm Bureau responded by saying they were concerned that the publisher would stoop to using a children's publication to advance such a biased and incorrect view of American culture, because media doesn't do that at all. It's unclear if
Where was the incorrect information?
it's unclear if pressure from the American Farm Bureau was the cause, but the book was never reprinted. How wild is that story?
The greatest problem that whole thing you just read was Penguin Random House.
I hate them. There was a thread on Twitter because can you say you're on Twitter anymore?
No, I don't think you can.
I mean, there was a thread on Instagram.
I haven't been on Twitter in probably 7 years.
I tagged you a few years ago on something.
Did you really?
I was
Well,
like,
I never log in.
I was like, I think his account's inactive. I'm just gonna tag Pens and Pedals. That was like 2 years ago. So it wasn't a Twitter thread. It was an Instagram thread because I think Instagram is okay. It was
Aaron,
a
can I have your
TikTok,
pepperoni?
Yeah, go for it. Have
and they
some
were
pep
talking
peps.
about Penguin
Pep it
Random
up.
House.
Pep it up.
Penguin Random House, and all of the terrible packaging that they do. And it was just a bunch of comic retailers like posting horrible pictures of all of the. I thought you were going to eat pizza. There it is.
Get
Just
that on the mic.
posting their complaints
Yeah.
about Penguin Random House.
That's why people are tuning in.
But it was just funny because it validated a lot. That's disgusting.
we should
It was
we
funny
should not
'cause-
talk and just isolate that sound and make it that a button.
It was funny because it validated all the Penguin Random House stuff that we always complain about. That you're thinking, so not that anybody cares, but that's why we're here because no one cares.
Yes, exactly.
About a year and a half ago,
I'm
2
just
years
here for
ago,
the pepperoni.
Diamond Comics was the only comics distributor in the industry, and it splintered into several different things.
Oh,
and
Splinter.
Teenage Mutant the pizza.
Cowachunga.
Cowachunga. But it splintered into a bunch of different other distributors, and Penguin Random House eventually picked up Marvel, and so we thought, oh, this is going to be great. Penguin Random House is going to be a great company to deal with. Wrong.
Wrong.
It's like that Depeche Mode song. Wrong.
Ooh, that was a good Depeche Mode. Who's the lead singer for Depeche Mode?
Dave Gahan.
Thank you.
Gahan.
Hey, careful.
But great vocalist. One of the best
Yes.
vocalists of all
Love
time, in
Depeche
my
Mode.
opinion.
I should know who that is, actually.
You should.
Oh.
And Martin Gore is the other principal songwriter and performer. In,
Yeah, because they lost.
Depeche Mode. Andrew Fletcher. No, Fletcher was lost for a long time ago. Oh, what? It's a crime. I can't remember his name.
I don't know.
Yep, we're not talking about Vanilla Ice. Sorry, Nick.
Vanilla Ice.
Ice, vanilla. Is
Go
that how it goes?
Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go Ninja, go
As
Ninja,
a kid,
go.
as a
I wonder if
kid,
this is gonna get flagged on YouTube.
as that
Ninja,
as a kid,
ninja,
that was
rap,
that
ninja,
scene was the
ninja,
coolest thing.
rap.
Like when they fought Super Shredder on the pier. That was the coolest thing for like however old I was then. I remember thinking that was awesome.
Do you think Vanilla Ice, Rob Van Winkle, he's a ninja in real life, IRL?
Of course.
No.
Is that even a question? Oh yeah, I got this on cam, huh? This is damn Natello.
I forgot that Corey Feldman was the voice of Donatello in the original Ninja Turtles movie. What?
Yeah.
He pioneered the way for the likes of Brian Austin Green to be the Human Torch.
Oh,
certainly
God,
did.
that was awful.
I liked his rap.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
Johnny Storm doing weird splits over and over again. He made that one, the niece.
Which didn't
of
even
the,
fit in that episode. That was the best part. It was like,
and he made the niece of the landlady,
Yep.
like him by getting up there and like not really rapping and doing a bunch of weird splits. It's like, okay, I mean if that's what you're into, bunch of weird banana splits, it's fine.
Oh, I think we've run out of steam.
nope. Maybe not Steam.
You guys ever see like kids in your class go to Banana Splits and you're like, how come I can't go? Because you don't know what it is, and then later you find out why you can't go to Banana Splits.
Do you have any idea what he's talking about?
No.
You know what
Me
that is?
neither.
It's when your parents are divorced. Then at school you get to go to a thing called Banana Splits. I thought they
Because
got
your parents don't love you?
no. I thought
Don't love each other.
I thought they got
It's not his
ice.
fault.
I thought they got ice cream. I was like, what the heck, man? I'm good. Why can't I get some ice cream? But that's not really what it was.
So they... Wait a second. This needs to be explored for just a minute. So if your parents get divorced, you're punished by... You need to go to a thing that's named after an ice cream, and you don't get any ice cream, and then everybody knows that your parents don't love you.
And you have to hang out with other people that parents don't love them.
Yeah, but you might have actually gotten ice cream though.
You just said there was no ice cream.
Oh, not for me, because I didn't get to go to Banana Splits.
This is so sad.
I got ice cream
Wait, you were
eventually.
sad. Wait, now you were sad. You didn't get to go to banana, so you wanted your parents to get divorced.
It wouldn't have affected his life any.
No, it would have been fine. Ish.
Your wife's defending you.
This was a thing of the
This
past.
was a thing of the past.
Oh.
I'm just a relic of the
Because
past.
they realized how stupid it was.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
You don't even know. You didn't know what was. You don't know if there's ice cream. You just gave us the name.
I just assumed there was ice cream. I knew there was no ice cream for me.
Should we get ice cream for Aaron?
It's like a comic shop with no comics. It just doesn't make any sense.
Aaron with ice cream?
Yes.
I'm done with your pizza. Thank you.
Yikes.
You got
It's the saddest pizza of all
So
time.
this went as well as I thought it was going to.
Yeah, but
It's
we do no
classic.
research. Does anybody have any Ninja Turtles questions in the chat that we won't be able to answer?
Or will we?
No, we won't.
We will.
And just remember.
Oh, can you color Krang pink?
Yeah, we can do that real quick.
Can you color Krang pink?
I'll do it left-handed.
Aaron, you turn pages and color things pink. How did you not already color something pink?
Because it's coloring other things purple. I was coloring it in left-handed.
Turtles versus Street Sharks. Who wins? Battletoads wins.
Ooh, Battletoads.
Battletoads wins.
Notoriously difficult
Bucky
game,
O'Hare.
right? Oh, Bucky O'Hare. I remember Bucky,
Bucky O'Hare created by
Michael Golden,
Michael
baby.
Golden.
And some other good writers, right? Wasn't Neil Adams in on the Bucky O'Hare?
That is an excellent point about how many thousands of animals.
Yeah, radioactive. What was the black belt hamsters? Radioactive.
Black Belt Hamsters.
Radioactive adolescent black belt hamsters.
I like Biker Mice from Mars
Like
personally.
a
The one with all like the scars and the cyborg arm, pretty sick.
Battletoads versus Leonardo and Michelangelo. Battletoads versus Leonardo and Michelangelo.
I used Game Genie to beat Nintendo's TMNT.
So actually, I was almost going to call Joe and let's have a segment with Joe.
Let's have a segment with Joe. All right,
All right.
We got to go back to the doc cam. Can we press that button so
Don't
we
get
can
that
have,
pizza on that drawing. You'll ruin it. The pizza.
I just
mean.
wanted to get the pizza and the colon in the same shot. This should be the thumbnail.
Please leave your
Oh, he blocked me. Joe maintains that the Ninja Turtles underwater level is not as difficult as everybody remembers it being.
Maybe for him. I think most things are not as difficult for him as they are for other people.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I think that's a Joeism.
Did anyone? So actually, I've been waiting for. Didn't talk the Turtles video game. There's 23 different Turtles video game, or more than 23 different video games. My article's a little outdated, but close to 30, let's say. And I've been waiting for the new Shredder's Revenge game to come out, which I played the demo at PAX.
Oh, you have been, yeah.
They push it back every month, and I went to
And then he yells
GameStop.
about it.
Went to GameStop the other day,
I'm sorry.
and no, it was all right. Brian Richardson wasn't there, so it was fine.
Okay, good.
No, I love Brian Richardson. That was a joke. I'm sorry, Brian.
Yeah, everyone thought you were serious.
But somebody there was like, "Oh, you don't want the new Turtles game. You want the old Turtles collection," and it had all the Game Boy, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, as well as the 2 arcade games. The first Turtles and then Turtles in Time was the second arcade game, I believe, which was the best Turtles arcade game.
Turtles in Time was the best?
yep.
I honestly never played it
Well, it's because
because the arcade game was enough.
yeah. Did you ever beat the NES or Team? I'm gonna have to go back and play that because I haven't played that one yet. But I'm gonna beat that. When is John Callan gonna come back as an MC again? MC John Callan. Word to your mother. He was here today, dropping the fattest of rhymes. because that's what John Callan does. He's an MC, Martin. That's a joke. He was here today, though. I'm DM you
Oh,
his.
I'll DM you.
I'll DM you his OnlyFans. Already subscribed. The 18 plus warning was a ruse.
Which
There's
is
not
fancy
pictures
talk
of
about-
John Callan online, are there?
Mhm.
Oh, there's not pictures of John Callan.
Poor John Callan getting
Pictures,
mentioned in this
videos.
podcast.
Oh, I hope it's tasteful.
It is not.
I hope it's tasteful.
By the way, Joe will never answer your phone call on a Thursday between the hours of 6 and 7 o'clock,
Why? What's he doing?
avoiding being on the podcast.
Oh, is that what it is?
No, didn't he walk into it a few times though?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been forced in a couple times.
He just happened to be here.
He's supposed to. We're gonna sit down and rip all this stuff apart, and then
Every time Evan
Put
puts
it
him
back
on the
together.
podcast against his will, he destroys a point of sale system.
It's his retaliation. Mortal Kombat retaliation. Is that a thing? I'm just saying things.
lots
now.
of feather boas. Yeah, we're just kind of saying things. We really stopped doing the podcast about 10 minutes ago, I think.
I'm
hour and
drawing
1
the
minute ago.
shredder.
Mm-hmm.
I'm drawing a shredder though.
Let's see a shredder real quick.
Can you have him holding a shredder, like a cheese shredder?
The original
Grater?
concept for that
Yeah.
was a cheese grater that
My brother has one.
really
Yeah.
that he was
Not the original. but-
his costume was going to be like a cheese grater type thing, and then it turned into the spikies.
And then maybe he'll be holding a food processor down here.
Mm-hmm. It's his Vitamix.
You should have him working at the Olive Garden.
When you're here, you're Foot Clan.
Just waiting for the customer to tell him to stop putting the grated cheese on their pasta.
And then he'll be like, "No, I won't stop grating the cheese."
We should get Cecilia a shredder costume.
Latest supervillain to start working at Olive Garden, the OG. All right, I'm done.
more superheroes, more supervillains at Olive Garden.
Can we go home?
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, we're having fun.
Woo! Look at this.
Whatever that word is.
Cowachunga.
Cowachunga. TM.
Martin, do you got anything else?
I didn't have anything to begin with.
Me neither, because we did no research again.
I ate pepperoni.
Thoroughly researched.
I just ate pepperonis and looked at Aaron weird because he said weird things.
You know, I when you watch Ninja Turtles, I mean, I got to finish watching it because I was enjoying it, but
Those 10 minutes were great.
like it's so funny when you see things a bunch of times as a kid and you watch it again as an adult. All those music cues just come back instantly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like all the iconic shots and the cinematography and like the phrases that the characters say, it's just embedded in my brain. It's just like came back to life watching it.
Good times. Good times.
And on that note, take us home.
You've been experiencing a comic shop podcast. I'm Aaron Z. Lee, aka Venus de Milo.
I'm Evan Coy, Lord Krang.
I'm Martin Kinney, and I'm partied out.
Turtle Power.
Pepperoni. Banana splits.
Cowachungus, everybody.
Cowachungus.
Banana splits.
Shout out to Lucy.